Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 6 o'clock, and we want to begin tonight with $2 million worth of jewelry stolen. 5 suspects tonight are now under arrest, accused of carrying out this robbery at a store here in Indianapolis.
Police say then they took off after the robbery, and that led to a chase, and it was an extensive one. Let's show you the map here. It all started on the south side of Indy, and then the chase ended up all the way northwest up in Clinton County. Samantha Johnson's on the story, joining us live at the jewelry store on the south side where it all started. So, Sam, I know you've been out there talking to people. Tell us, what have you learned about this so far?
Certainly a frightening scene that happened really just a few hours ago. Things have quieted down now as the shock of what happened is no doubt setting in for the folks who work here at King Jewelers. The last investigators have gone from the scene now. There's a sign on the door that now reads "Closed today, see you tomorrow." I can tell you this all started around 1 o'clock this afternoon. That's when police say 3 suspects went into that store with guns. Several people inside the store, according to police, were restrained and held at gunpoint. The suspects taking off with precious metals, jewelry, and cash valued at $2 million. Now, the store specializes in 22-karat gold and elite grade diamonds. This is top of the line stuff. That's according to the store's social media page. And a few of the employees who were inside at the time of that robbery were able to give very good descriptions of the suspects and their getaway vehicle to police. And that's how within minutes, Indiana State Police were able to track down that vehicle in Boone County. They tried to pull over the suspects, but they took off again. This was a look at some of the backup on I-65 earlier this afternoon. We can tell you Lebanon police, state police, both involved in that chase. Ultimately, it ended in a crash in Clinton County. We know police drones, canines, a state police helicopter all helped track down 5 people who took off from that car. They tell us they also found bags of evidence in that car. You can see this was the scene earlier this afternoon in Clinton County. Thankfully, we can tell you, according to police, no one was hurt, and that is especially grateful to hear here on the southeast side for everyone who was working inside that store at the time of the robbery. Now, of course, the investigation turns to how this happened, what led up to that robbery. I can tell you, being in the area all afternoon, there are several surveillance cameras on this strip mall that police will no doubt be using as part of the investigation. Most people here say they didn't hear or see anything. So scary for the people who were inside that store. We can tell you now, we hope now that the car is recovered, the suspects were in custody, the police will be able to recover everything that was stolen from King Jewelers. Again, $2 million worth of valuables. So Scott and Anne Marie, much more to come as the investigation continues.
All right, Sam, just so scary for those workers, and you just think, you know, but for what? It could have just gone some other way and been so much more tragic. So glad that they're okay, and appreciate your live report. Thank you. It is Monday, and we've been watching the change in the weather that's coming in our way as we look live out from Speedway right now, from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are following the potential for some severe weather tonight and into tomorrow. And things are dry right now, but other areas could see some rain and pop-up storms as the hours march on.
Yeah, it's going to be tomorrow afternoon where we'll have the greatest threat, but even overnight tonight, there's a chance that some of these rounds of storms that come through could produce some gusty winds. And gusty winds, I think, is going to be the biggest concern. So let me outline the areas that we're talking about. Well, we're looking at temperatures that feel like they're triple digits. And the reason I'm starting with this is because there's heat and humidity in place. That's going to be a lot of fuel for these storms to work with. Feels like 96, but it's actually 87 degrees here. So anything that moves our way is going to be able to wring out a lot of moisture and a lot of energy in the atmosphere. Thankfully, it is quiet right now, and we expected that to be the case, although there is a severe thunderstorm watch in place for Fayette and for Wayne County until 8 p.m. this evening. There's a chance for some storms to develop there. We're already seeing some of those, even a tornado warning that's in the southeastern part of Ohio. Where we'll really be watching is farther to the north and west. As storms get going, they will travel into Indiana. Then we'll see this happen again tomorrow, traveling through Indiana, and one that could bring a line of storms that produce some pretty gusty winds for tomorrow. Damaging winds is our biggest concern. Could rule out a tornado threat or even a hail threat, but damaging winds with this line are going to be something that we'll watch. Scattered storms for tonight. Tomorrow, the timing will be during the afternoon, but I'm going to show you future track for this timing here, sometime mid to late afternoon through the early evening, what you can expect and when those storms will get out of here in our forecast coming up.
All right, Rob, thanks so much. Well, we are hearing from witnesses tonight about the accident on a baseball diamond that critically injured a teenager.
Our Jenny Runovich is in Richmond tonight, where an on-field contest went horribly wrong.
In the final game of the inaugural season for Richmond Flying Mummies baseball,
It was a hard situation to watch.
tragedy on the field.
You could feel the energy kind of sucked out of the stadium.
2 Richmond high school football players injured, one critically, in a fan event between innings. It happened during a contest the Mummies, a summer collegiate baseball league, have done all season. Fans get inside inflatable bubble suits like this.
You know, they run into each other and they hit, and who's ever left standing, you know, wins it.
One's at third base and one's at first, and they run together and meet about second base. And, you know, they bounce off each other.
It's usually people get up, there's a lot of cheering, and after this happened, you could tell something was wrong. The energy out of the stadium was gone. The players, you know, instantly started taking knees and praying, and you knew something serious happened.
Running, you know, full speed at each other. And being football players, they both went, you know, tucked their heads and collided.
After the collision, both teens carted off the field, one critically hurt.
The high school football players were at the baseball game because it was a fundraiser for the team. Dre Street, the senior player who the school says was critically injured, is a standout here on the gridiron. Now there are prayers for strength off the field.
Richmond students' hands raised in support Monday as counselors help them cope. The community sharing support too.
But my prayers go out to their families to watch that whole team come together and pray. And, you know, you can just see the looks on their faces. They were all worried about their teammates.
Now fans, friends, and families
Those kids have been in my thoughts since the night we left.
are hoping for a full recovery. In Richmond, Jenny Runovich, 13 News.
The Flying Mummy shared a statement of support for the injured students. You can read that over on WTHR.com. And we've also learned just last month another teenager was seriously injured during a similar incident at a Burlington Sock Puppets baseball game in North Carolina. Serious injuries after a collision in one of those inflatable bubble suits. Well, tonight police now believe a 15-year-old riding in the back seat of a pickup shot the driver, which caused a crash through the wall of a daycare.
Our Rich Nye today talked with the operator of that daycare who is out of business since that deadly crash.
For almost 4 months now, no kids have received hugs at Pooh Bear's House of Hugs. The huge hole in the wall is repaired, but the inside of the daycare is still a mess after a pickup truck drove through the side of the building April 25th just after midnight.
Then they had to get a tow truck to take the truck out and pull it out. So they poured it everything, just messed everything up, tore the whole building up. It's a disaster.
And police say a crime, too. The driver died at the scene. 29-year-old Nehemiah Golson had gunshot wounds. A 15-year-old boy was rescued from the back seat. Police say they also found a gun and a large amount of cash. Now that teen is under arrest for reckless homicide. Rochelle Dickerson named the daycare in memory of her son, Rodriguez Pooh Anderson. His 2018 murder is unsolved. Dickerson wants to reopen her daycare at this new location near 21st and Emerson, but she says she needs to raise about $2,500 to complete the lease agreement. In Indianapolis, Rich Nye, 13 News.